Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the Frontline Changes report. For the past 24 hours, a lot of frontline changes over the past 24 hours, a lot of intel drop, and very crazy things has happened across the Ukraine war. We have frontline changes over in the Kursk region, over in Karenevo, Kitrovka, Nedenov, and then we have frontline changes over in the Kharkiv front at Taike, at Sinkivka, over in the Kupiansk front, Klishchiivka at the Bakhmut front, Nelipivka, New York, which is the most dramatic place, one of the most dramatic things happening over this past 24 hours, Novohorodivka, Selidove, Ukraine's Kernik, Zeleny Pershe, as well as Krasnohorivka, another of these major crazy happenings. So we're going to jump to the Kursk front first. So over at the Kursk front, the Russian forces has been geolocated outside of Karenevo for the first time in a long time, and this invalidates a huge amount of Ukrainian claims, and the Russian forces basically have pushed out of Karenevo for the first time since they got pinned down inside of Karenevo. So it's been weeks since they have been stuck here. I think the last attack, I can't even tell where is it now. Okay, since probably 1 month ago. Yeah, they have been stuck here for 1 month, and the Russian forces finally broke out for the first time. So this marks the first reversal of first real reversal of the situation over in this northwestern flank of the Kursk front. The next frontline change is over in the northern flank, generally in the northeastern flank, where the Ukrainian forces has been geolocated in new regions, further expanding their control just off Kitrovka, north of Marievka, as they continue to expand up the highway, as well as some clarification of the front line where Nedenov seems to be under Ukrainian control, as this corroborates the fighting reported at Kamishevka, according to the past reports. So this continues to be the case, which means that the Russian lines actually looks a bit like this. So this is the situation, the front line change over in the northern flank of the Kursk front. So things are getting clearer and clearer. And so we move on. After the Kursk front, we go to Taike. Over at the Kharkiv front, we have some updates from the Ukrainian mapping. They have invalidated themselves again. So now the front line actually lines up with the Russian mapping. So this entire area here, they previously claimed this line. So now they have given up, saying that the Russians actually have all this line. This is a clarification. Doesn't necessarily means that there is fighting reported in this region here. It is just the frontline changes. Like they just realize that they are not there, put it that way. So clearly they can't be there because of the way how the terrain is like. There's no way the Ukrainians are going to go defend there. They will defend at the forest. That makes more perfect sense. And to go up north don't make sense. They probably stay at the village. So this is why we continue to monitor as it is. We move all the way to Sinkivka. Over at the Kupiansk front. At the Kupiansk front, Russian forces has been geolocated further south in Sinkivka, which means the Russian forces have expanded further. This is not a confirmation of Russian capture of Sinkivka yet, because we can't be sure if they have presence in the other regions of Sinkivka. But given the fact that they are geolocated over here, we can be quite sure that the Russians have some very good positions in this area here. So it's just that we cannot confirm if they are here. That's all, or they are in the forest. So it's just a bit more difficult to tell. So and of course this area as well, on the eastern part of Sinkivka. So we just have to wait. But this is a significant frontline change, because if the Russians are here and they actually have the forest, then the battle will start to move towards Kupiansk, which is just south of here. And this is going to be a big strategic change. Over in Klishchiivka, over at the southern part of the Bakhmut, southern flank of Bakhmut, the Russian mapping have came out for the Klishchiivka region. For them, they say that the line looks more like this. So their line is something like this, whereas DPA's line is actually like this. So but generally this is basically marking the Russian claims. We shall continue to monitor the situation. I don't think it's this place is because the roads don't make sense. For me it just makes more sense for the Russian forces to go through the forest in this way rather than a very unusual this way kind of thing. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But anyway, the Russians draw it like this, so we will mark it on the map. But this will not affect the Ukrainian mapping. And so we move on to Nelipivka. So this is where the big drama is. Yesterday in my report, I said that the Ukrainians have claimed that they have taken all these grounds. They have they have made some big progress, and in fact they have doubled down, saying in the post by Deep State UA, they say that the 12th Special Forces Brigade, the Azov Brigade, have shown footages showing that they have captured or kicked out the Russian forces out of the industrial plant, which is also known as the phenolic plant. I don't know what is phenolic. I've never seen this word before, but anyway, you guys probably will know better because you guys can Google. I'm lazy to Google. So anyway, they claim that the Russian forces has been kicked out, but the problem is that there is actually in the footage is just bombardments. It's just drone strikes. There is no Ukrainian forces in that plant, or at least in the video. Then came the drama. We have a geolocation from Crimea Caprice, which shows the opposite side of the situation where Russian forces has been geolocated in multiple locations in a single video footage, all the way inside Nelipivka, in multiple positions in Nelipivka, south of Nelipivka, northern part of New York, just off the plant, inside New York and on eastern part of New York. And this geolocation utterly destroys the Ukrainian claim that the Ukrainians have been successful at kicking out the Russians out of Nelipivka. And this is going to create massive discrepancy between the mappings. So now and anyway, because these are geolocation, the Ukrainian mapping is now invalidated. At least half of it is now invalidated. In fact, Russian forces even gain further by capturing the eastern part of Nelipivka. So let me redraw this so that we don't have all the crosses. So the Russian forces basically have taken the entire eastern part of Nelipivka. This is a massive capture and includes near the center of Nelipivka. The entire eastern northern part of New York is now firmly under Russian control. And because of this development, the entire region here, this entire gray zone that the Ukrainians keep maintaining, is now utterly invalidated. The entire area is Russian. There is no way, if the geolocation is not wrong and is updated, then this entire region is under Russian control. And now then we're going to have this very weird problem because the Ukrainians maintain that they have the plant, but like I mentioned, the video does not show Ukrainian troops inside the plant. They only show bombardments of the plant. So that is almost like scamming people who don't clearly think for themselves. And so whatever it is, I'm not going to change that. Oh, this is become firm control just because of the video, and they kind of put a geolocation there as if that they really captured the plant. It's not the case. The video footage doesn't show Ukrainian troops inside the plant. So this is very important, which means that the high chance is that the Russians actually have full control of the plant. And the fact that they're actually bombarding the plant means that the Russians were inside the plant. So this is also another big problem. But I'm not going to use their geolocation because it's Azov Brigade. The Azov Brigade may not be there to... They didn't put out this footage, to claim that they have success. It could be just a disinformation campaign to maintain a sense that they are still inside New York, but maybe they are actually entirely out of it. So the entire situation now is very weird because previously we understood that the Russians attacked from the east. This is the original attack, and then they actually entered Nelipivka from the east. Now we have confirmation via geolocation that they are coming from the west. So in the sense that there's a high chance that there's actually no Ukrainian lines inside of New York at all. Is possibly not there. so if you look at the Russian mapping, this line, this is the current line, and then with this additional one, New York is actually fully captured by the Russian forces. But at this moment, there is no claims yet, I believe. Is there any claim? Russian Defense Ministry? No, the yeah, largest group troops, the largest settlement to, oh yeah, the Russian Defense Ministry already declared the capture of New York. And so the Ukrainians are just deferring the announcement of the loss of New York for as long as they can. I feel like that is the case. I think the reality right now on the ground is that the Russians have already taken New York. Like all this Ukrainian drama, I don't think this is reality. Given the fact of the matter of how there are actually geolocation of Russian forces inside of Nelipivka, and also we have previous reports of fighting at Skibinivka as well as Leonidivka. This is frontline change is really yeah, unless you really want to cope, then I mean, go on, man. It's perfectly fine because you support your side. It's not something wrong, yeah, don't face reality is a very normal thing. Like, yeah, I should go to gym more. And go to at the Novohorodivka in the Pokrov front. Russian forces have been geolocated just off the cemetery. Maybe picking a good spot for themselves, but whatever it is, they are taking grounds around in the south, and that's about it for this area. Further south, there is a geolocation of the front line. Ukrainian forces actually launched a raid with the infantry fighting vehicle. The fact that they can drive all the way here puts into question everything west of this. So I have changed the mapping. I invalidated the entire region here because I don't think there's Russian troops in this area. I don't think so. They're probably at the mining region, probably, maybe in the north, but this entire road all the way to this point where the Ukrainians launched this fire attack, this infantry fighting vehicle raid, definitely there's no Russian troops there. I don't think that is the case. So this is invalidated. But because they don't need to drive down the southern part, so this southern part, the claim will remain for the Russian side. So we will continue to monitor and look for more information because, like I mentioned previously, I have my doubts about the Russian claims of progress towards Selidove. The lack of information over this area here is too suspicious. So I invalidate this area here. So as you can see, both Russian and Ukrainian sides copes a lot. So that's why we are in the DPA army. We slap them, wake them up. So we go into the northern part of the Donetsk front or southern part of the Pokrov front. There is some updates. Russian forces starting to attack up into Ukraine. They basically move up as per expected. Russian mapping also kinds of claim a bit more of the road south of Lysivka. And based on the Rybas mapping, the pro-Russian sources also mapped a bit more of Helisinivka. South, the Russian forces are attacking towards Zeleny Pershi. So the Russians are attacking in two different directions towards Ukraine, Zeleny Pershi. There is some rumors about attack towards Khernik, but no, they cannot confirm that because they say that the civilians are spouting nonsense sometimes. All the information is very unreliable. So which means that they have actually sources on the ground. So whatever it is, this is a situation over in this Khernik, Ukraine's Helisinivka region, and now Khernik is over here, by the way. So after this area, the next frontline change is over at Krasnohorivka, and this is where I mentioned the disasters that's about to happen in the conclusions. So the latest conclusion you need to watch because it talks a lot about Khernik and how this is a very, very strategically important town. And the Russian forces indeed is now closing this as the Ukrainians probably start to abandon positions. Russian forces has been geolocated in two very unexpected positions in the northern outskirts of Krasnohorivka and the western northern edge of Krasnohorivka in the first chopstick. And the Russians are also entering the southern chopstick. So which means the Russians have made massive advances around Krasnohorivka, which means the Ukrainian forces has abandoned positions. They probably are retreating right now. As I mentioned, the strategic situation is extremely bad for the Ukrainians. It's undefendable. The Nevelsky region is now undefendable because the Russians are not going to attack. They're going to surround you from the rear. So this situation, I think, will start to collapse. We will see the massive collapse of this area pretty soon. Watch the conclusions. You will probably understand better what I'm trying to say. So I believe this is the total frontline changes report for the past 24 hours. A lot of things has happened. So do check out the conclusions over here. And I'll see you guys in the next update.